I'm Slash, and I'm here to introduce the AFD100 in its finished form. We've been spending a lot of time developing this amp, which was basically an idea that I had where I thought, since so many people were trying to recreate the Appetite for Destruction guitar sound, that the best people to really actually pull that off would be Marshall themselves. And we got together and talked about it and went back and stripped a couple of the tracks off the original masters from the Appetite for Destruction record, and basically got in there with a fine-tooth comb and sussed out what made that sound the way that it was, and developed a Marshall circuitry that matched it, and we finally managed to pull it off after about maybe 3 or 4 different production models. Anyway, we finally have the actual finished amp right here, and this is the actual final production model. And we'll be hitting stores at some point pretty soon. So. I want to introduce my friend here, Santiago, who is the mastermind behind the insides of Marshall amplifiers, and who I worked with on the AFD100, and who's the head guy in making this thing sound as amazing as it sounds. So.
Yeah, we started a few months ago just with the idea of replicating the tone of the Appetite for Destruction album. So we studied the tracks of original tracks master of the album, and also tested the amps that the Slash was being using. And then later on we came with this #1 amp, which basically it's a very simple one-channel amp with 2 modes, which allows the user to have both tones from AFD and from the Slash career, the JSM800 number 34, which he has been using for, well, since the Appetite album afterwards, Use Your Illusion and so on. So basically the amplifier is very simple, just one-channel amp, standard Marshall, JSM800 controls, plus a few tweaks that we have done, which is as you can see here, we have the Slash, the AFD and the number 34 mode switch. Then we have the standard preamp controls, and then we have a new feature, which is the electronic power attenuator, which allows the user to play from 0.1 watts to 100 watts all the way. So you can get power amp distortion at bedroom level, you know.
Probably one of the really cool features on the amp, yeah. And then there's an effects loop switch.
Yeah, we have an effects loop switch.
And in the back, the coolest feature that we have is we have a bias switch on the back, so you can bias the amp yourself, which is great. So.
Yeah, biasing has been always a kind of a problem or a mystery for many users. So we thought that would be cool to have something very simple that everyone can just plug the tubes on the amp and just bias it without any tool. So the user basically selects the current that he wants to bias it and just triggers the bias function, which is as easier, I can show you, as easier as hold down the effects loop and switch the amp on. Then the lights will start flashing very soon. And now after 2 or 3 minutes, the amp is biased by itself, as easy as that.
It's awesome. So this is the first production model of the limited edition AFD100, and it's pretty cool because we're sitting here chronologically the whole history that I've had with working with Marshall on the models of Marshalls that I've been using over the years. And this is the Jubilee series, which was a limited edition Marshall back in the day that I used to tour with, and this is one of the survivors of the famous St. Louis riot, which prompted me to go to Marshall and go, you know what, I'm going to need some amplifiers. And they had the idea, which was a huge honor for me, which was, well, let's do a Slash model amplifier. So in the 90s, we did this Marshall Slash signature model, which is based off the Jubilee with a couple different tweaks and stuff, and I've been using this for a long time on the road and in the studio. And then now we finally come full circle to reproducing the first recorded guitar sound that I ever used, which was the Appetite for Destruction record. And this thing sounds amazing, so this is pretty cool little history right here. It's just a great sounding Marshall. And as far as the sort of like, we used Night Train as a reference, and it sounds just like. Pretty much identical sounds, so I think we've been pretty successful.